Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to Dale's Nails 40's World, where we do soap opera reviews. The soap opera we're going to be going over today is The Young and the Restless for July 25th, 2016. I know I'm late, bear with me. The summary we have today is Victor's act of revenge backfires. We have Phyllis speaks her mind. Jill shakes things up in Genoa City. What we're doing is recapping from last episode, which was the 22nd of this month. Phyllis shows up at the courthouse and tells the Honorable Judge Gates, keep Victor ass in prison. He done did enough to me, and that's enough to keep him in prison. She goes on to say why she feels he needs to be kept in prison. And everybody can testify. He done did a lot to everybody. But this particular episode is dedicated to my one and only, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Ashima Mackinson, Ashima. She wanted me to go on and upload July 25th and 26th, and Lord knows I've been working on it, and I've been trying to put out Bold and the Beautiful, but it is what it is. So this one is definitely dedicated to her and Mr. Mike Tanner, giving me his opinions, and they be on point. And I hope things happen as he dictates them to me that he would like to see what happens, and we'll just all see what's going on. And as well as my other true viewers of my show and content for my soap opera reviews, I thank you as well. But those are the two ones that just hit me up, and especially Miss McKinson. She's just like, get on your job, honey, and get me them reports on Young and the Restless. So here it is. If you'd like to hear me, here I go. All right. The first scene goes into Kane and Billy. They're tearing into each other. Billy is telling Kane, Mom has ulterior motives, so don't think you're sitting on the throne by yourself. She's controlling and pushing all the buttons, honey. Okay, then we go to Chelsea. Chelsea's still talking with Adam about letting Connor come to visit him in jail. She's saying, you can't let it be resolved that way. Connor's asking about you. He want to know where you at. He's a child. It doesn't matter where you are. He still wants to see you, okay? Knowing that you're there still in his life, and Adam is feeling some kind of way about it. He don't want his son to see him behind bars. Then we go to Phyllis. Phyllis is telling the judge and Victor to his face that it was a horrible thing that Victor had did to her. After the fact, knowing she shared her life with a total stranger, meaning Marco. Marco had changed his whole facial identity to look like Jack, and Victor was coaching him on and this, that, and the other. And Victor pretty much stripped Phyllis of her humanity, her loyalty, her morality, all of that, because she thought she was sleeping with Jack. So, it's like, Phyllis, you didn't know you was sleeping with a stranger. Can't nobody give you the whole aspects of somebody else's true being. And it had to be some clues that you knew that you were not with the same man. You know how they say, I'm living with a stranger, there's a stranger in my house, these type of things, because this person's not acting how they would have act normally, because you've been with them for a certain thing, so everything is not going to be copacetic, especially when you're dealing with somebody who's posing as somebody. So it really messed with her mind and just makes her look disloyal and all of this. And she's telling the judge Victor did all that to her, and it just keeps raping her over in her mind and her mind and her mind. Because really Marco did rape her. Unbeknownst to her that it wasn't Jack. It was somebody else that Victor had hired to get back at Jack. But it is what it is. So she makes a very strong plea, very compelling, and it makes me want to keep Victor ass in jail as well. We move from that situation, we go to Summer. Summer walks in the courtroom and sees her mom tearing into her grandfather, which is Victor, and she wants her mom to stop. Phyllis says she ain't stopping. These are her feelings. They are validated, and she's going to let the judge know before he makes his own decision about letting Victor out or not. But Phyllis keeps on and makes a very, very, like I said, compelling case. Then good old Nikki jumps in to fight and defend Victor like he knew she would, and he's smirking all the way. And Nick is saying, Phyllis, if Vic didn't break camp and leave the hospital and come save us, we would have been dead, or furthermore, one of us would have been dead, and it would have been a bad situation. But guess what? he took the time to come and rescue me, his wife, as well as, getting you out of a bad situation as possible as well. But Phyllis ain't hearing that shit. And the women just go back and forth, and the judge in the background is telling them to, honor him and stop this fussing and talk only to him. But they ain't listening to him. They just continue to go on saying and doing what they want to do to make themselves look good. Okay, and they just voicing their opinions. So then we go to Jill. Jill has come over to the Chancellor's estate with Kane and Billy being there, and she's very pleased. And she tells both of her boys they will be in partnership together with running brash and sassy. And Kane he acts like he's okay with it, but he's really not. Then we go to Chelsea. Chelsea and Adam are still going over the ins and outs of Connor being able to come see him in prison. Of course, what's his name? Adam is still like, no, we're not going to have that happen. So we go back to Judge Gates. Judge Gates tells both women to respect his courtroom and him. And then Phyllis goes on to still tear into Nikki and anybody else in the courtroom that will go against her. She's fighting them, pretty much. Then we go to Victor. Excuse me. Victor speaks on his behalf about having taken great solace in what his family has said about him. And he tells the judge being in jail has changed him and he's a new man. Really, Victor? Come on now, boo. 6 months ain't changed you in the pen, okay? It ain't changed you. You just been calculating, motivating, and just destroying stuff while you've been in jail, okay? Then we go to Jack wants to speak on Victor case appeal prior to having his little run in with his wife, and his wife just leaving him right there saying she don't want to talk about it, and she just kept walking. It made Jack feel some kind of way. So he called himself coming back to address the judge because he sure wasn't on a panel of people to sit up there and plead for Victor or talk against Victor. And Phyllis wasn't there either. But she came in there. Where they do that at and why? Because it ain't in a real courtroom. Anyway, Phyllis' testimony, like I said, she walks out of the courtroom and don't want to talk with Jack about anything after the fact. So Jack wants to speak out for himself about Victor, in front of the judge. We go to commercial, we come back. Jack says he's not for or against Victor's release. He just wants the final decision of Victor's fate to be final, permanent. Like no appeals need to be done anymore. If he does have to stay in jail, just serve your time to 10 years and then you'll be out, free Scott, and whatever. If you're gonna let him out, let him out, let him be a free man, and let society just reap whatever he has sown to come back to get bite his ass. Okay, but it has to be one of come on, let's get some peace to everybody. We tired of Victor and his antics. Okay, so either free him or keep him in jail, one or the other, so people can heal, especially his wife. Then we go to Billy, Jill, and Kane are discussing the ins and outs of, Jill's new setup that she has for both of the boys working together. Then we have Phyllis, while Jill is trying to talk to Billy, she calls wanting to talk to Billy about all the comings and goings, the court case, and what she said, to keep Victor in jail and this, that, and the other, how everybody's mad at her. But she can't talk because, Billy pretty much says, I can't, I understand Bethany and this, that, and the other. So that was a clue to tell Phyllis to get off the phone. He's not by himself, this, that, and the other. And then, once he gets off the phone, Jill is making reference. Oh, so that was Bethany, huh? He said, yeah, she tried to do something. We could make a date or whatever. And, he's asking his mom to be truthful to him. Then she said, well, if you can be truthful to me to who was really on that phone call, then we can really talk. I'm like, come on, Billy, your mama's not a fool. She's an old G, okay? Or a seasoned G, as I should say. Then we go to the situation where the judge, Honorable Gates, takes a recess to decide Victor's fate. So everyone goes outside in the waiting room of the courthouse and talk amongst themselves and talk about Victor and what everyone expects from everyone with Victor's possibly release. We go to commercial, we come back. Judge Gates and Victor have a private conversation prior to making his ruling and telling the others that are there to hear his decision, you know, at that particular time. He want to have a small little chit chat with Victor so they can be on the same accord, same page of the same book they're reading. That's this, that, and the other. So Judge Gates talks to Victor about using his daughter, and Victor vehemently tells Judge Gates he didn't use his daughter, but we all know, yeah, you did, Victor. Yeah, you did. You were so conspiring and manipulative. We know you, Victor. And as us being viewers of the show, we know exactly what you're doing. Anyway, then Judge Gates tells Victor how Victor treated Phyllis about that right there alone should keep him in prison, and he shouldn't have anything to talk about because we could see that it hurt her. Victor was behind the whole thing. He didn't care. It's just something, a means to an ends. So Judge Gates is extremely being biased because of the love for his daughter. Judge Gates should not be trying this case, period, point and blank, because you already been tampered with by you saying your daughter feels this and that. Your daughter wants me to let you out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, you're totally biased. You already been tainted. You shouldn't be presiding over this case because it's not pure justice. All right, you're going off the feelings of your newfound relationship that you don't repair with your daughter, so you're trying to have her in your life as well. But like you said, excuse me, and you told Victor that the only way you're gonna let him walk free is that he agreed to not see his daughter anymore. He told his daughter the same thing. If he lets Victor walk by hearing his case, then he's definitely not wanting her to be making any type of contact with Mr. Newman again. And so those are pretty much the guidelines that he told Victor. He'll go along with this little mess, even though in his heart of hearts and in his judicial ruling as being a judge and taking the oath to do no harm to anybody, he's going against all of that. And he should definitely be what do you call it, reported to the judicial board or whatever, because he's definitely being one-sided and he's only looking at the aspects of his life and his daughter's life. He's not worried about what happened to Phyllis and all the harm and havoc Victor went and did and made people suffer. He don't care. It's all about him, and that's not a part in the judicial system that we look for truth and justice to be served. So I'm just upset with him already. Been upset with him because I thought he was gonna be a true trooper and keep his ass in jail, and he got to find out another way to get out of jail. But it just is what it is. That kind of speaks to our law of society, what we are in as well. A lot of justice is not being served. A lot of tomfoolery is going around. Innocent people are being held in jail for crimes they didn't commit, while you got the ones that did commit it, got power, money, and prestige, and they're getting let out. It doesn't matter what type of infraction they did harm in, killing somebody, setting up somebody. It doesn't matter. You got money, you got power, you in the playing field to make it and break decisions. Okay, so that is a reflection of true life living. Then we go to Adam and Chelsea. They still fussing in the jailhouse about seeing, when Connor come visit. I'm tired of talking about that situation. We're not going to mention no more in this episode. Then we go to Billy. Bill says he's not telling his mother about his personal life. She's understanding it, but she's like letting him also know Mama ain't no fool. Jill is telling Kane will be a good role model for you. Billy's not buying that as well. Jill also tells Billy he gets brass and sassy numbers up, she would give him back full control and executive running privileges and all that situation after 3 months if those numbers are favorable. Because in a sense, she'll be done made her money back that she invested in Billy, as from saving the company, going into a situation where somebody else could have bought it that's not inside the family. Okay, so Billy's is understanding that concept now. Um, she'll give it to him after 3 months of revenue, and she could see that it's definitely been up on an upswing. They're making money off the company and making back what they pretty much bought the company when they had to buy it out from somebody before, for somebody else was going to get a hold to it. So they want to make that money back, so it's not a loss all the way around. So then once he do all that and solidify himself as being a true watchful business person, of the proceeds that are being taken in, then she'll let him run the company all by himself and take Kane, give him another division to focus on. Which, I'm like, Jill just, a mover, shaker, just like, Miss Chancellor. But she was nice about it, but she still got her way, as well as Victor. All of them are players, main players in the elite circle, so they do what they want to do. as they see fit your life should be. Anyway, we go on from there. We got Jack is overseeing Phyllis, and Phyllis is thinking Jack is there to tell him Victor has been released, and she's surprised to see Jack at her suite's doorstep. Jack is asking Phyllis, what about them? Then the judge tells Victor if he gives him clemency, will he stay away from his daughter? And he said she will stay away from him. So he got the clarification from his daughter. She said she would stay away from him. Now he wants it from Victor. Victor agrees he will stay away from his daughter because he loves his family as well as he loves his daughter. We go to commercial. We come back from commercial. Jack is getting on Phyllis about her anger and resentment issues. Both are crying and being emotional towards one another, and they somewhat embrace. Billy agrees to Jill's terms of agreement that if he does what she asked him to do, he will have complete control of the company and it won't be lost. And hopefully, him and Victoria will get back together. But that's not on Billy's agenda. Not the part of getting back with Victoria. Um, then we have the scene where Jill is reflecting while being in Catherine Chancellor's house. It would always be Catherine Chancellor's house. They know they all inherited that house from her and other monetary gain. But she chose a color that's called Forget Me Not Yellow. It's the choice of the color she wants back on them walls because she had a reflection moment where I guess her and Kay had their last final scene together. And she was asking Mrs. Chancellor would she like her to help her to go up to her bedroom. And, Miss Chancellor was looking at the long stairway and she was being very fragile and everything. But she's like, this might be the last time I go up these stairs and I can handle it. That's kind of much what she was putting in her non-verbal ways. She was gesturing Jill, and Jill's response to her about helping her upstairs. So we that solidified that she told, in a sense, Billy, when they come to paint this house, this is the color I chose. And she even make a little stripe to show the color like brightening up the whole house from where it's been totally gloomy of what Billy has given the house of what do you call it, aesthetics, as far as beauty is concerned. So she's getting rid of that dark harbor gray blue or whatever, which is very gloomy. She's trying to prep the house back up to be bright and shiny as Miss Chancellor would have always had it done. So we leave that situation. We go to Judge Gates. He rules to let Victor be free. He understands the terms of the private conversation that him and Victor had prior to his ruling. So Victor's a free man, guys. He's a free man. So Tara's still on the way and on the board for him to commit. Because Jack vehemently told the judge he don't really believe nothing Victor said about understanding all of his wrongs, and he's a changed man, this, that, and the other. But he says it's not really for him because having him in jail it still wreaks havoc. But he's forgiving him, but he hadn't forgotten, and he's doing it for the greater good, the greater cause of looking at his family members that want him out, and they're good people, and he just hope they know what they're getting their hands on by letting Victor out and forgiving him for all his past deeds, wrongful deeds. So we go to commercial. We come back. Phyllis admits to pushing Jack away as they're having their still moment together. Then Jack gets a text saying Victor was free. Phyllis gets all emotional for the negative again and asks Jack to leave because they're not on the same page of the book. And she makes it very clear they don't really have a future together. Then we go to Chelsea. Chelsea gets a text that Victor was freed, and that upsets her and what's his name? Adam's situation. But then he has to realize that Victor did tell him if he's free, he's gonna be out shortly rather than later, or sooner rather than later. So we go to Victor and Nikki. They finally arrive at their home at the ranch. Victor's looking around, making sure everything's back in its place, or should be in its place of how he remembers it. And he's a bit emotional, but Victor's Victor. You know what I'm saying? He just out. He glad to be able to open a door and it ain't got prison bars behind it or whatever. So he's cool. We go to Kane and Lily. They're talking about what Jill just did by making him and Billy work together and this, that, and the other. And you know, Lily's saying, "Don't worry, honey. You're gonna take it over. You're gonna take it all over, and I'll be right there with you." So I don't know what Lily's talking about, but anyway, it is what it is. We go to Phyllis. Phyllis shows up at Billy. when Billy's trying to call her back after his mother has left and they've had that conversation, she comes in and tells Billy she thinks her marriage to Jack is over. Go figure. Commercial, we come back. Jack's at the bar having a drink, and Jill comes by and see him, and they have a little small talk here and there about all the situations of Billy working with Kane and brash and sass and all this, that, and the other, and we don't want to care about what Jack's talking about. Anyway, we go to Phyllis. Phyllis is telling Victor about all the comings and goings with her testifying. Well, I'm sorry, Phyllis is telling Billy, I'm sorry, not Victor, about what had transpired in court today and what she said, and how she had some run-ins with Victor's rest of the family and this, that, and the other. But we move on from that situation. Victoria and Nicholas having lunch together, talking over everything that had transpired and how Victoria feels like she needs to be obligated to go finish work. But Nicholas said, "What the hell for? Dad is back in charge, and he already told you he's gonna get some rest." And that just one day he was speaking of. He's back at his office. He don't want her in the office. He don't want nobody in the office. He just wants to sit and resume his power chair and his status. Okay? Letting everybody know he back. He ain't going nowhere. He was gone for almost a year, but 6 months, no comparison to 10 years. All right. So we need that situation. Chelsea is being so emotional to where Adam can't talk to her anymore. So he just leaves her right there, all confused, all acting like a little willy nilly nut. And he just go on because he can't take it too much. That was just too much to know his dad is free and he's back up in the jailhouse with doing no fault of his own because he didn't kill Constance Bingham. Anyway, we leave that situation. We go back to Nikki is trying to be a dutiful wife to Victor. She's asking pretty much everything that he needs except his slippers and his robe. Okay, like get back out the 50s, Nikki. Come on back up with us in the 21st century. Anyway, everybody know as us being the viewers that he's playing Nikki like his favorite instrument, and they both embrace each other. I guess she's going to make him a sandwich. Who knows? So after she steps away, Chloe comes out from nowhere, child. She don't got on the Newman property, and that property is so secure. But you let a psychopath out, you're gonna get a psychopathic type of way of thinking. Anyway, Chloe shows up at Victor's house, and he's very surprised, and he's telling her, "You shouldn't be here, honey." He's probably scared and stoked about how security let her pass and all this other nothing. But he's dealing with a nut. But he does ask about those missing journal pages. Victor tells Chloe, "Have you lost your mind? Are you crazy? I'm gonna need them papers, honey. What are you doing?" Um, Chloe's losing it pretty much. She's in a psychopath type realm. She's crazy. She's out for revenge still. Even though Adam is in jail. It is what it is. Uh, Victor has awakened a sleeping dragon, and she's burning with rage, ready to set somebody on fire. And I hope it ain't Victor. But anyway, that was my take on The Young and the Restless that aired on the 25th of this month. I'll shortly be doing the 26th and 7th, I guess. But right now, have to do what I got to do, meaning taking care of some other business. But I'll be back with you shortly. Take care, guys. Bye bye.